Have you ever achieved something that you wanted for so long and that you dreamt of so much, and you got there and you felt kind of empty? Hi guys, welcome to our channel. I'm Yasmin.
And I'm Nadia.
If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button below and the bell so you're notified every time we upload a video on how to transform your life from stressed and overworked to joyful and balanced. So today we really want to share with you how we achieved our goals and dreams and achieved our success, but we were left to feel really unfulfilled and unhappy. So we just want to share a snippet of our story with you. So Yaz, I'm going to let you start. We'll go back to when we were 25 and we had our houses, we had our prestigious law career, we had obtained our law degree, we had all the material possessions we wanted, we had financial security, but we felt kind of lost and unfulfilled and kind of empty. Yeah, I mean, I remember specifically a moment, I think we both remember this, when we were sitting down after we had just purchased our second property and we kind of felt really lost and confused. And I remember asking myself, like, is this how I'm supposed to feel? Yeah, because we purchased our second house and we were only 25, and most people, well, we expected someone in our position would be happy and joyful and feel fulfilled and like they'd accomplished something amazing. And it wasn't that we weren't grateful, it was just that we didn't feel how we had expected to feel. Yeah. So at the time we didn't really discover this, but we've now discovered that the problem was we were conditioned to believe that achievements and these material possessions would make us feel happy and fulfilled. And so when we achieved them, we didn't feel this feeling that we were conditioned to believe, because in honesty it's not the truth. Because we used to work so hard and we worked so hard for these goals, and we actually quite enjoyed the journey getting there. But then once we achieved these things, we felt unfulfilled, and it was only after that moment where we sat there saying, why do I feel so empty? Why does it feel this way? That we started to do some deeper inner work. We started to ask ourselves questions, because we had achieved quite a lot by that point. We had our law degree and the houses, and we expected to feel fulfilled by that point. So we started to ask those questions. Why do I feel like this? Why is it that I've achieved these things that society deems so great and successful, but we feel so unhappy? So what we did is we asked ourselves lots of questions. Why do we feel this way? Where is this coming from? How do we feel about our achievements? And we really dug deep inside. We stopped looking at what the outside world was saying to us, and we started to pay attention to how we were feeling. And we realized that this need and this push to be successful and achieve the next thing, achieve the next thing, achieve the next thing, was actually a disguise for the feeling that we didn't feel worthy as we were. We felt that we had to be more. And I think it was a distraction, because we only felt like content or happy or okay if we were chasing a goal, if we were driving towards something, if we were distracted by something in the future. Like, we couldn't be present, we couldn't be okay not doing or striving towards something. So where did this all come from? And this is what we later discovered, that we grew up in a very turbulent childhood. Our father left at the age of 3. We went in and out of courtrooms throughout most of our childhood. You know, our stepdad left when we were 18. So most of our child or sort of teenage life was just turbulent. There was constant conflict, like conflict after conflict through relatives and family, and going in and out of court and moving from here to there. And that, our interpretation as children was, we are the problem. We thought that we were the problem, we weren't good enough, there was something wrong with us. Because that's what you do when you're a child, you make it about you. That's your level of understanding. You think, oh, this person left, oh, it must be me. Or if a parent's not present, you think, you automatically think as a child, there's something I'm doing wrong. It's not you don't realize that that parent has their own, you know, things that they're dealing with. Yeah, you just think, oh, what am I doing to make them respond in that way? So at that age, that was our level of understanding. We thought that we were not good enough, we weren't worthy enough. So we were like, okay, we have to be better, do better, be more approved, be more acceptable. How do we do that? Well, let's achieve things so we feel worthy, and let's prove our worth. Yeah, and this is the reality of most people's adult wounds. A lot of our wounds as adults and the behaviors we have were interpretations that we made as children. And that's why healing that inner child is so important, because we carry on our adult lives with these beliefs and wounds that we're carrying because we interpreted things in not necessarily the correct way as children. So this is where it all started for us. We had all this conflict and family drama and a lot of emotional pain, and our solution to that was become better, be better, achieve these things so that we feel worthy. Basically, pain became the driving force for our success through our young childhood years and our teenage years and into our very early 20s. Pain was the driving force. So obviously there was a few major problems with this obsessive need we had to strive and achieve and always be chasing another goal. Firstly, if we wanted a happy and fulfilled and abundant life and lifestyle, there would come a point where we would have to deal with all of this stuff from the past and address that pain and the things we went through in the past. We had to deal with that. We had to be able to process that so we were able to be present and stop running. Otherwise we'd just be running away from it for forever through our achievements and accomplishing things. I mean, you really do have to let go, because the reality of it is that if you are being driven by pain and you don't deal with it, you cannot be peaceful if you are carrying pain. You cannot be happy and abundant if you are carrying and you're not willing to let go of wounds and traumas and pain. It just it doesn't happen. Even trying to be present and live and enjoy something just by being still or slowing down, you will be restless all the time. You just not be able to slow down when you've got all of those emotions in there and all of that pain stored in your body. Yeah, you're literally carrying it with you, so it needs to be released. And this is the moment where when we were doing the inner work, we realized if we change from, okay, this success isn't making us feel happy and fulfilled. What do we want? We want to be successful, yes, but we also want to be happy and fulfilled. How do we do that? Well, we have to let go of this pain that we're carrying. And another problem is that these achievements and always driving and striving and aiming for things and doing things led to severe burnout. So, you know, we were doing our law degree while working full-time, while going to the gym every day, and then we got our houses and we renovated them after work every day, and there was just more and more, and it just started piling up, and anything to just get away from the emotions. We were just doing anything, so we were just running like machines all the time, just constantly just running away from this pain, and we were getting burnt out. We started developing all sorts of health problems because our body just couldn't handle all these demands we were putting on our physical body. It just couldn't handle it anymore. Yeah, so I just want to confirm there's two things that we did. One, we wanted the success because we wanted to prove that we were good enough and worthy. And two, we wanted to use success and working and striving towards something as a distraction from the pain and the emotions that we were carrying. So if you're someone in a similar position and you're feeling confused and you don't really quite understand why you're not getting that sense of achievement anymore, you're not getting that sense of fulfillment when you achieve something anymore, then ask yourself what the reason is that you're doing it. Why are you doing these things? Why do you need another goal? Why are you striving for things? Is it to prove your worth? Is it to fill an empty void? Is it to distract from a painful emotion or feeling or experience you had in your past? You need to basically heal what you're running from. You need to get to the source of what's driving you. You need to understand what is pushing you to keep on going and keep on achieving despite feeling unwell or feeling tired or feeling exhausted or having all the material things that you already ever wanted.
Always wanting more, yeah.
Yeah, so if you get to the source and find out what is driving you, whether it's childhood beliefs or experiences or something your parent or someone that you cared about said to you when you were younger, then you need to change that child perspective to an adult's perspective. So for example, in our scenario, we were children, and our interpretation of our fathers leaving is that as a child is they've left because there's something I've done wrong, I'm not enough, they don't want to stay because I'm not worthy. Now, at that stage where we were still striving and chasing things and we were slightly unhealed, we carried that child perspective into adulthood. And we had to look at that experience and change that experience, or our perception of that experience, by looking at it from an adult. So we needed to look back at that experience, look at our child's perspective, and now give it a different perspective from our adult, mature self.
Which we did. So we realised that it had nothing to do with us. That was that person's issues, and that person couldn't deal with whatever they couldn't deal with, but it's not to do with the child, it's not to do with you. So that we gained a new perspective by realising actually it wasn't personal and we are worthy just as we are.
Yeah, so that's what we mean by getting to the source of that, and then healing that and transforming it and giving it a different perspective, so you can start to act from a place of already being enough. So you're acting from enoughness already. So you're chasing and you're driving and you're achieving from a place of love and acceptance of yourself and already feeling enough, rather than to prove your worth anymore.
So I think another thing that is really, really important to realize, which we realized, is what makes, and it helps you have self-compassion as well, is what makes this whole journey so difficult is the external validation that we receive, the praise that we receive, the recognition that we receive for our successes or achievements. So it's very common for certain childhood traumas to turn into workaholism or this need to always achieve. And the reason is because if you are a child who feels either neglected or unlovable, or you don't get the attention you want as a child in general, what happens is, say you achieve something, and this is what happens often, is you will get recognition, you will get love and attention. So if you're a child that feels neglected, but then you achieve good grades in school, or you produce a good piece of art, or you create something amazing, what will happen is that parent that you may feel neglected by, or you don't feel worthy because of, may give you love and attention and recognition. So then what you think in your head is, oh, okay, so I get love from my parent or this person when I achieve something good, when I achieve something that makes me feel successful, or that is deemed as successful. So then you build this routine of, okay, I need to achieve and I need to become successful so I get love and recognition, and you build that link, and then you have that driving force of, okay, to be loved I need to be successful, to be worthy I need to achieve things. So looking back, we really realized that there was our culture, to our background, and hustle culture, which really made this whole trauma worse for us, and really made this drive from our pain really bad for us. Because especially coming from a Turkish Cypriot background, they really emphasize, and there's a lot of cultures like this where they really emphasize good grades at school, getting a certain job, being a certain way. You know, it's the sort of culture where they kind of show off their kids.
Yeah, especially like law and doctors and stuff like that.
For being this certain way, and that puts a lot of pressure on you as, you know, a growing human, like around your family and your community, which only praises certain careers and certain behaviors. So we had this a lot, and then on top of that we had this reinforcement from hustle culture, which told us you have to always be working, you know, hustle, no sleep, no eat, and this all fed this, basically this lie that we were not worthy, and we had to do these things to prove that we were something, to prove that we were good enough and acceptable by society and our culture. So it's really important that if you are struggling with something like this, and you feel like you keep on go to be successful, but you just don't feel happy and you don't feel fulfilled, it's important to realize that the external world is telling you something that can make it very difficult for you. So have self-compassion, but really tune in to what feels right for you. Does achieving this thing feel good for you, or is it something that society or hustle culture or your parents or your teachers or something is telling you to do? What feels good to you?
Yeah, are you living a life for someone else because they think it's the life to live, or are you living a life that aligns to your values and who you are as a person, your authentic self?
So how did we heal the wounds and get out of this mess? We had to pivot. We had to pivot from driving and working from a place of pain to healing and working from a place of joy. And how did we do that? We did shadow work, we did inner healing, we really did a lot of self-reflection, but we had to stop listening to the outside world and start tuning into ourselves and looking inwards. And that's really the key here, because you have all the answers. You know what you like, you know what you want to do, and deep down you know you are worthy. It's just about uncovering all the old conditioning and the wounds and the beliefs and the false interpretations that were formed at childhood or growing up, and just any time really, because you can form beliefs at any point, and just shedding all those beliefs that aren't serving you, so that you can realize that you're worthy as you are now, and you can start working and achieving from a place of joy instead of being from a place of pain. And then you shed all that pain, you let go of all those wounds, and you can feel fulfilled, you can feel peaceful, you can enjoy your success.
Yeah, you really want to find those child perspectives, or those perspectives you formed in childhood, and then look at them, observe them, and see what you've carried from your child perspective into your adult life, and then look at them from the adult perspective and change them now, and heal from them, and find a perspective that's firstly more accurate, and secondly that's going to serve your life in a better way.
So slow down, do the shadow work, do the healing, reprogram the beliefs, because yes, sometimes healing those wounds is going to be painful, it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's so worth it, because you don't want to keep achieving and get to the end to realize what you were carrying and that what you should have let go of, because that's what we could have done. We could have just carried on. And a lot of people do this. The reality of it is that it's easier to just, well, it's not easier, but it is, in the moment, it's easier to just distract yourself with something so that you don't have to deal with those emotions and that pain that's coming up. But if you carry on doing that, then you're going to be running for the rest of your life. So it's better just to deal with those pains, deal with those emotions, realize that we are all human, and we pretty much all of us have some sort of trauma or some sort of upset that we go through as children, and some sort of false beliefs that we're carrying, whether it's from society or parents or friends, that we just have to realize that we are worthy and these things do not define who we are. And then we can really reach true fulfillment, true happiness and true peace. And the other thing is when you do this, when you go through this journey, it makes the pain worth it. Because if the pain led you to do the shadow work, do the healing, and realize how worthy you truly are, despite all this that's happened to you, when you do that, it makes the pain so worth it. Because had you not have had the pain, you wouldn't have necessarily realized your true worth. So it's 100% worth it. So that's it from us today. I really hope that anyone who is struggling with the same sort of situation, where they keep putting pressure on themselves and they're impatient with themselves and they keep trying to achieve, to prove something, I really hope that this shows you that it's okay, and you just need to realize your true worth. And if you are someone who really wants to go deeper into this, check out our Instagram, check out we'll link actually down below our Burnout to Balance masterclass, which goes a bit more into shadow work and the sort of stuff that you can do to get to a more balanced and fulfilled life, if you want to check that out. And feel free to reach out to us if you want to have a conversation. So that's it for today. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe and comment, and until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.